Alright.
What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Free Trading Game Collection, the series where I look to build a video game collection without spending any money on it. That's how I've managed to accumulate everything that you see behind me, and a lot more besides. I've got a dedicated Nintendo section, I've got a retro slash just Mega Drive section at the moment behind the camera that you saw in the last video, and we've recently picked up a PlayStation 3. If you want to know how I've managed to accumulate all this stuff, though, the playlist is linked for your convenience in the description, so go check it out from episode 1 or from episode 37 if you're a bit sadistic. So, with that being said, what I like to do in these videos is go to charity shops and car boot sales on Facebook and things, and get things that we want for the collection or things we can flip or whatever it may be. However, today, something fell in my lap. It didn't actually fall in my lap today, it actually fell in my lap October last year, but we're going to talk about it today. But before we get there, I want to do a complete U-turn on several things that I've said in this series up until this point, and you'll probably see this a lot from me. I do tend to change my mind, very indecisive. That's why I spend 4 hours in CEX looking at Wii U games, only to buy one singular game for £2. And that is that the PlayStation 3 that I've picked up, we are keeping it, despite the fact that I've had one before and sold it, and now I'm actually going to collect a fair few games for it as well. Since sorting out the game room to the point where everything is plugged in permanently, so I can go and turn the Mega Drive on, I can turn the Xbox 360 on, the PS3 on, the Wii U on, and bring the Switch upstairs if I really want to, and play all at the same time without having to swap plugs and dive over cardboard and move things out of the way. Now that everything is kind of more or less sorted in here, I'm playing a lot more games. I tend to stand up while playing the Mega Drive. The other day, I was watching Zombieland while trying to sort out a few things in the room. I'm doing a lot more in here now. My point is, consoles I genuinely didn't think I would play, I'm now going to play. And that is the same for the PlayStation 2. Something that I decided that I was going to get rid of. Now, I do still want to trade in my PS2 because it's boxed and it trades for more than £100 in CEX. That is a ridiculous amount of money, and I don't hold it in that high regard to want to keep it. So, what I want to look to do over the next couple of weeks is to try and pick up a PS2. And I'm going to actively look. I'm going to go to more places than I normally do. I'm going to try and hunt one down in a boot sale. I actually missed one in the last boot sale I went to. A subscriber, incidentally, got there before I did. I'm walking past. I'm literally on my way out of the boot sale. I've just picked up those Skylanders games that you would have seen in another episode. And he is stood there with a boxed slim PS2 and some games for 20 quid. And I nearly robbed him. I won't lie to you, but I didn't. I let him have it. So anyway, I do want to try and pick up maybe a slim, because I do have a spot for it, and I don't think the fat one would go there, the slim one would. But if I do end up getting a fat console, I kind of want it to be some sort of variant, not just the black one. But anyway, that's for another day. I do want to pick up some PlayStation 2 games, and that's why we've been walking around CEX for the last couple of minutes. So, I popped in here on my way past, I picked up 2 PlayStation 2 games, I spent a whopping £4. Here are the games. First of which is a staple of any PlayStation 2 collection, and it is so cheap right now, it is unreal. There are a fair few of these games on the console, 2 of which are £5 each, and I will pick them up, but I'm pretty sure I can get them cheaper in like a boot sale or something. It is Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, one of the best games on the platform in my opinion. I remember sinking hours and hours and hours into this game. It was one of those that, like, it just blew me away. Like, there's so many enemies on the screen at any one time. The combat was incredible. I was a pretty big Lord of the Rings fan back in the day. I haven't seen it for years now, but when the films came out, I saw this twice in the cinema. It was just, and it, like, you know how long this film is, right? So, yeah, really, really good game. Unfortunately, it's not complete. It doesn't have the manual. I do need to look for one with the manual, because I kind of want to get manuals wherever possible now. I wasn't really that fussed with it before, but the more I think about it and the more I'm taking a little bit more pride in the collection, I kind of want them as complete as possible, and obviously in the best condition possible. But £1 spent on that. And then the next one I kind of made a mistake-ish. I mean, I would have bought it anyway, but it wasn't the game I thought it was. I was a little bit confused. So, it's Rocky Legends on the PS2. Now, I thought this was the other Rocky game. Yes, there are 2 Rocky games on the PlayStation 2. Who knew? I didn't know, and I didn't play this. I played the other one a lot and I really enjoyed it, but I didn't play Rocky Legends. This was £3, the other one is £4. Didn't find this out until I brought it home and I was like, I swear this is a different game. It just doesn't look the same. This is complete with a manual. It looks decent. I'm a huge Rocky fan. It's one of my favourite series of films of all time. Sylvester Stallone he's a legend. I love him. So yeah, really happy to have it in the collection, and I will absolutely 100% play it at some point, but I do still need the other Rocky game. Now that I wouldn't say the boring section is out of the way, but now we made a little bit of a purchase, we've got our toes wet in this episode, let's dive into the meat of the episode, I guess, and that is going to be something that fell in my lap. So October last year, I'm sat at my desk, I'm doing something, I can't remember what it was. I get a text from my wife saying, I'm at my parents' house, they've just got Sky Glass delivered, and now they want to get rid of their old TV. Their old TV was a 48-inch Sony TV. It wasn't 4K or anything, it was actually quite old. They'd had it for a fair number of years. They're going to stick it on Facebook free to anyone, unless you want it. I mean, I don't like to see anything go to waste. It wouldn't go to waste, it would go to someone who'd use it. But I mean, I could use it, right? So I said, yeah, why not? You know, I'll take it. Didn't know what I wanted to do with it, but I knew I was going to try and utilise it in some way. Could maybe have upgraded the TV that we had and then use that TV to maybe bung it on Facebook or something. But it's kind of like the right size. This one's a 42, theirs was a 48. No, I'm going to keep my TV there. Could put it on the wall above my desk, but then I knew I wanted to move the room around, so I didn't actually commit to doing that. And then when I eventually did move the room around, it was several months later, after Christmas, and then FlexiSpot reached out and they sent me that standing desk. And now I can't put the TV above it, because if I lift the desk, there's not going to be enough clearance to have it on the wall. So I've got nowhere to put it, and I've got no use for it. So I could sell it. It's worth about 140, 150. It actually is worth a little bit more, but because of shipping and everything, it's just impossible. I could put it on Facebook, maybe sell it, but then it's a little bit boring. So I decided to put it on Facebook and say, look, I'm looking to swap this. Don't want to sell it. I want to swap it. I've seen a lot of people do it in the past. Retro Rick, who inspired this series, has done it with several things. I think a Switch. He did it with, of course, Phoenix Resale, and a few other people did it with Switches as well. But I'm thinking a TV is one of those things that could really work. Let's try it. Stick it up on Facebook. Full description of what I wanted, but I would literally consider anything. And I was expecting to be bombarded with messages of, hey, I've got Oblivion on the Xbox 360. I'll swap it for you if you want. It's in fairly good condition, a few scratches. I didn't get any messages for 2 days. Not one person reached out because they wanted this TV, and I thought, wow, this just isn't going to work. And I'm starting to think about what I could do with it. Maybe it is time to just sell it and take the cash. And then someone reached out. Hey, I have a PS4. Are you interested in that? No one else had sent me a message, so yeah, why not? Let's go for it. Got them to send me a few pictures of it working and whatever it may be. It was an original PlayStation 4, the bigger model, with an official controller and a third-party controller. I couldn't really work out what the third-party controller was from the picture, but it looked like some sort of Nacon controller. And according to CEX, it was about £16 in trade. So I thought, right, I could get the PlayStation, bundle it with the Nacon controller, use the official controller to trade in, get about £30 or whatever it may be in credit, and then maybe try it again. Stick the PlayStation on Facebook and try and swap it with the third-party controller for something else. I was kind of looking for a Switch Lite, if I'm honest, and maybe a game or two to go with it. And I thought that was quite fair because the Switch Lite and the PS4, believe it or not, are around the same price. They're both between 110 and 140-ish. So I thought that was a reasonable thing to do. When I got the console, it was all working and everything. There wasn't any problems necessarily, but unfortunately, the official controller had a touch, and it was very minimal, but it was a touch of stick drift. Now, CEX wouldn't even consider it because it's already going. It's going to get worse over time. So I had to rework the situation. I had to bundle the official controller with the console, and then I had to trade in the Nacon controller. So that's exactly what I did. Traded in the Nacon controller and got £16 in credit. And then the console, I put back on Facebook, and I said, looking to swap this for, and then again gave a huge list. I was kind of hoping someone would want a PS4 and maybe they had a GameCube or even a PS2 or something that they wanted to swap for it. I got one message in about a week, and the message was, I've got an Xbox 360 with some games. Like, it was, I think, 3 controllers, 2 of which the sticks had completely worn away. CEX wouldn't trade them, and they're not really worth an awful lot besides taking them to CEX. The games were fairly trash, and the console was a really, really old white one that is susceptible to the red ring of death. So I politely declined, and in the end, I just had to sell it. But I sold it on eBay for a pretty decent amount of money. I think it was like 130, 140. I'll put it on screen for you. So I'm going to add, after fees, that amount of money into the cash profit of this series. A lot of people might scoff at this and say, no, you can't do that. But it's my series. I'll do what I want. Things fell in my lap. It's just the way that it is. So what are we going to do with that cash profit? And what are we going to do with that £16 in trade credit for CEX? So you've already seen me spend a whopping £4 today on 2 classics. Haven't played that, but still. So £4 coming out of the cash profit. Of course, we've already put over 100 in it from that PlayStation. There was already quite a lot in it anyway. I'm going to be spending this, I would imagine, wearing it all the way down to almost nothing over the next couple of weeks. I've got a lot of stuff coming, and I don't really have a lot of things to offset the price of it. So yeah, you're gonna see me spending the profit quite a lot going forward. However, today we're only gonna buy one more thing, and that one thing cost me around £38 to £40, and it's in this box. It's very, very thin. I think you can understand what this is going to be. So the company in question, Super Rare Games. That's right. They had a release recently that I, like I said, never heard of before. I think it's been out for a number of years, but only now, of course, physical on the Switch. We get our little card there, Super Rare Games. These, obviously, if you don't know, these they essentially just make very limited runs of games. This one, I think, was 4,000 copies. So there are only 4,000 of these ever printed. They won't print any more. That's it. Some of these can be very, very expensive. I think, is the game I really want, I think it's called Darkwood. I think it's called Darkwood. I'm probably butchering it. It has come down in price recently, actually. It was originally 80, it's now 78. But that, when it first came out, would have been around £36 on Super Rare Games. And then, of course, it was limited to 3,000 or 4,000 copies. And now, because it's a really good game, and there aren't that many of them, and no one's really selling them, it's worth a lot more money. So these are very good collectibles, if you will. But the reason I wanted this isn't to put it on the shelf sealed and never open it, because I want to play this. The game in question is the Heaven Dust Collection. This I knew absolutely nothing about, and I think it's made by a very, very small team. I think the team is just 2 people. I might be wrong in saying that, but this looks like a almost cartoony Resident Evil clone. I absolutely cannot wait to tear the plastic off this and get it in the Switch. Since finishing Pokemon Sword, I wouldn't say I'm at a little bit of a loss, because I do have quite a few games I really want to get to, but I don't have anything on the Switch right now that I really want to play. I've got Yoshi's Crafted World that I really want to start, and I've got a couple of other games coming as well that I really want to get into, but this grabbed my attention almost immediately. It looks absolutely insane, and to have 2 games to be able to play through here, really, really looking forward to this. So as with anything Super Rare, it does come in this, it is sealed inside, but it does also come in this little pouch. So unlike those collectors who will put this on the shelf and never touch it, I'm going to open it. Because like I said, I want to play it. I don't care about preserving something sealed. So there it is. There's the sticker is gone. There's the plastic. And we also get the Heaven Collection like trading card things. I'm not really that big a fan, or well, not big a fan, like I don't really care about this sort of thing. I'm sure many people do, not something that I'm that bothered by. And then there's the game itself. Like I said, it is completely sealed, brand new. Heaven Dust 1 and Heaven Dust 2, and like I said, I don't know or didn't know anything about them. I have watched a couple of reviews to see that it is something that I want, because I'm not just buying these things for the sake of it. I will absolutely play this. We're going to deduct £40 from the total cash profit of today's episode for this game, and of course the £4 for the PlayStation 2 games, which leaves us with a grand total of whatever's on screen for you. Like I said, that is going to deplete quite quickly. I'm going to need to pick up some stuff that I can sell in the very near future because the funds are going to start dwindling very, very soon if I don't. That is going to mark the end of today's episode. I've got a lot more stuff to get through. I've got some really nice boot sale pickups. I may or may not have some more console acquisitions to go through. I have, by my standards anyway, an absolute shed load of CEX credit, an insane Facebook Marketplace pickup that I'm really excited to show you, and a lot more besides. So I'm going to try and rattle through these videos as fast as possible. I'm going to try and do them like every 2 or 3 days if I can until I'm caught up, because I do have a lot to catch up with. And yes, a fair few people may disagree with me incorporating a TV that I got for free into the series, but this is just my journey essentially. Yes, it's a challenge and yes, it's a video series, but at the end of the day, it's my collection that I'm building, and this is the way that it happens. This is everything that unfolds. I'm just documenting it at this stage. So if you have enjoyed this episode of the free trading game collection, do me a favor and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you want to, and until the next time, goodbye.